Earlier today, I spoke with Senator Amy Klobuchar, a Democrat from Minnesota, about Harris picking Walz as her running mate, who she describes as a close friend. Take a listen. Senator, thank you so much for your time. And we know that you know Governor Walz well. You were with him last night at a Harris fundraiser. We understand she made her decision down to the wire this morning, but did you discuss veep stakes with him last night?
No, we were just there doing the job, and that kind of defines Tim Walz to me. He is someone that has always believed in putting his country first, and that's meant signing up for the National Guard at age 17 out of Nebraska, growing up at a farm, deciding to be a high school teacher and a football coach, serving in the National Guard, and then back in 2006 deciding, I don't like the way this government's going, and I'm going to run for Congress. He held a seat that only 2 Democrats held in 100 years in this very rural district, and did it well, bringing in Democrats, Republicans, independents, and then was our great governor. Really, I always think of him in a plaid shirt, being so optimistic all the time and being able to work with workers and businesses. It's really defined him in a way, joy and positivity. And I really thank the Vice President Kamala Harris, for making such a choice of someone she can trust. I'm his friend. I know you can trust him. Someone that our country can trust as a leader. And then someone who also is going to bring a different part of the country and the world to this ticket. He gets the Midwest. He gets rural.
Senator, many Americans are going to be introduced to Walz for the first time today when he makes an appearance with Harris in Pennsylvania. Do you have any personal stories that sort of, to you, define his character?
Yeah, and that is that he and Gwen, his wife, have stood with me. You know, when I found out that I had breast cancer, I'm fine now, you know, he was one of the first calls to me. He has stood with our state through thick and thin. And someone that I think people now realize, if they've seen him on TV in the last few weeks, he's blunt, but he does it with a smile. And we go so far back that the town where he taught high school is a town my husband grew up in. And my mother-in-law actually brought Tim and Gwen a chicken Parmesan dinner when their baby Gus was born, because that's what my mother-in-law does when there's any new kids in the town. She shows up with a casserole. And I just think that story, and Tim Walz, they sent him a nice note afterwards with drawings from their daughter, Hope. I mean, he is someone who grew up with nothing and is a normal guy who made it on his own patriotism and his own ability to lead troops, to lead students, and then to lead in Congress, and then to lead our state. I think that's what we call a real leader, and that is what you're going to see in Tim Walz.
Senator, I have less than a minute with you, but what is your counter to some of the arguments we are already hearing from Republicans, and that he and Harris are an extremely progressive far-left ticket? We're also hearing criticism of Walz in terms of increasing the state budget there in Minnesota, and in a delay of mobilizing the National Guard amid protests.
Okay, that's a lot in 1 minute, but let me just say that, first of all, as I said, Tim Walz represented a rural district and has been known as someone who brings people together, not cuts them down like Donald Trump. He is someone who strongly opposed the defund the police measure, as did I, when it was on the ballot in the city of Minneapolis, and he actually increased funding for police. He's someone that did call in the National Guard, and he got some grief for that, but he did the right thing when violent riots broke out. There were a bunch of peaceful protests, but when it turned to violence, Tim Walz did call in the National Guard. So I'm surprised they're not just welcoming him to the national ticket. That's what we used to do in our politics, but that's not the Donald Trump we know. So I just hope that America sees today, when he sees Tim and Vice President Harris on that stage, they're going to see strength, and they're going to see optimism and joy. Yes, joy. That's what we need right now on the national stage, getting stuff done.
Well, if anyone knows the rigors of running for the highest office, it's you, Senator, so I'm sure you know what is up for your friend, Tim Walz.
Oh, I know. I've already warned him of all this. Yes, I know.
Senator Klobuchar, thank you.